Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well. And the new patch has dropped. Yes, the new patch has dropped. And I'm going to take out Venom, I think. Actually, let's take out the Hunter. The Hunter is top rank aircraft, so what, rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rank 6. Rank 6 aircraft. The Hunter, a very good plane by all means. One of the fastest planes in the time it was sort of when it came out. It was the top dog, so to say. So let's take it out for a battle, shall we? Now, I want to talk to you about something, and this is the amount of money Gaijin will have pulled in the past 24 to 48 hours. In the past, probably 2 hours alone. Now this is just an estimate, by the way. There's a bit of a guesstimate, personally, but a bit of an estimate, right? Based off of a match I just had, and possibly the match we are hopefully going to have now. So, since the release of this update, I've seen around about 20 T2s, the new Mitsubishi T2, and that would have to have been bought by with Golden Eagles, of course. That's a very expensive little thing. Now, it's been a while since I've actually taken out the Hunter. Now, we've also got a lot of the Voltor, the new Voltors out as well. And then we have updates to things like the FJ, the FJ-4B there, which has given it air-to-air missiles, and many other planes have now got air-to-air missiles. So, what I want to talk about is, as I said, the amount of money that Gaijin will have just raked in. Now, I think this match is going to be a little bit less representative of what I'm talking about. From what I've seen so far, at least 60 players have bought the T2. If 60 players have bought the T2, Gaijin will have made roughly $4,200 US in around about 10 to 20 minutes of the update going live. Now, if you also add into that people have bought the Challenger 2, the Abrams M1A1, the Ariete, they've also bought some of the new French helicopters, there's also the new premiums and things like that, then Gaijin's made quite a lot of money. Now, if you also put into that the people that bought the T2 would have also probably bought the KI-200. The KI-200 will cost you around about $50 US in Golden Eagles to grind out. I actually think I've managed to get a match where there's no T2s. This is just a miracle. But everybody is in the new, probably in the new premium Japanese jet anyway, so that's something. But I want to prove my point here. So everybody that's done this has spent money. So in the last, with the T2 alone, if 60 players bought the T2 and the KI-200 and possibly the KI-84 line, they will have probably netted themselves around about $15,000 US. Now add on to that all of the premium packs that they've sold. So all the premium packs come into it. Now roughly in the last 24 hours, if they started selling these premium packs in the last 24 hours, and they did on things like PlayStation 2, things like that, they would have probably netted themselves somewhere in the ballpark of around about $100,000 US. Add on to that everybody that's buying things with Golden Eagles. So everybody's starting to use Golden Eagles to buy things to get up there. Now there is a Mitsubishi T2 in the game, so yep, there is one. so you can see that people are buying them. So basically, probably in the last couple of days, let's call it the last week, Gaijin will have probably netted themselves around 100,000 to 200,000 US dollars. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money to anybody. You know, that is a fair amount of money. You know, it's fair to say that is a lot of money, and you know, good on them. You know, that they're a business, they need to make money. However, the downside of this is a lot of this stuff is quite game breaking. For instance, things like the Hawker Hunter here is now facing jets that are very, very superior to it. If you look at the T2, for instance, it's a jet that can travel at over 1,000 miles per hour. Completely forgotten how to fly my Hunter. I'm probably going to rip the wings or do something incredibly stupid in it. As I said, it's been a long, long time since I've flown this plane, but I was just taking it out for just the explanation of it. In the last game, for instance, I took out my Valteur. In my Valteur, I was annihilated pretty much instantly. This is a battle you cannot win. There's a T2 on my tail. Definitely a T2 on my tail. Rocket is launched. The FJ4 did actually take out the T2. That was nice. But what was one of the top planes in the game has now become basically a plane that is very hard to compete with the enemy. Now, I don't know how the hell we won that match. As I said, like, the last game I played was a perfect example of just how broken the T2 has basically made the game. It wiped the floor with us. But what I'm trying to say here is a lot of this money's going to the employees, which is great. It's a business. It needs money. This is good, right? The problem with this, though, is you keep encouraging Gaijin to do more. I'm going to take out my Voltaire in the hope of actually proving my point again. The people that do pay to win, basically, pay to buy everything brand new, they've bought all brand new stuff, and they've spent, Gaijin, as I said, will have raked in around about 100,000 to 200,000 US dollars in the last couple of days, couple of weeks with this new update, because of all the Golden Eagles spent, because of all the premiums purchased, things like that. This money's going to go to some of their employees, yes, but it's not going to go to all of them. There's a lot of it's going to go to the financial part and things like that, and the financiers. And they're going to see, oh, this is brilliant. People want these new modern vehicles. People want to have these brand new things. Let's add them into the game. Let's add all of this stuff in. The trouble is, there's going to be a point where they can't add any more into the game. It gets to a point where you can't really add stuff. You sort of run out of things to add. And I'm not having any luck now, because, as I said, the first two games I had was absolutely full of T2s. Full Japanese teams in them. It seems to have settled out a little bit now. But obviously there's a few more players online. But as I'm saying, the issue that this causes is it doesn't cause Gaijin to want to improve the game, because when they're making money, everything is all good. When you're making money, everything is fine and dandy, and there is no problems at all, right? And everything is wonderful, and you keep wanting to make money, so you keep adding in extremely broken aircraft, or aircraft that are really overperforming, doing game-breaking sort of mechanics, you know, aircraft that really can't be countered, or countermeasures that aren't there. And this becomes an issue because, well, for instance, as I was saying, things like the Hunter, right, and the Voltaire as well. Actually, the Voltaire was, when it came in, it was the new shiny plane, and it was super cool, and everybody wanted it, and it was the best plane there was. But it's quickly been superseded. It's quickly become the plane that can't really do anything anymore, and it's become the plane that is almost useless compared to some of the other vehicles in game. Now, you've added a premium variant of this plane in that has air-to-air missiles, yet the standard variant doesn't. And again, that sort of just causes a few little problems for people, because people don't particularly like when standard tech tree stuff is not the same as a premium thing. It's starting to cause problems with the actual game itself, and making it so it is, in effect, pay to sort of win. And it becomes a situation where, you know, people will throw money at a problem rather than just play it. Now, it's good because guys need to make money, of course. It's an important thing. But it's only short-term gains. Like, this isn't money that's going to last a long time. This isn't money that's going to be able to be used and sort of carry on for a long period of time. This is money that's going to last, you know, for this early stage of the patch, it's going to last a few days, and then it's gone, and it never comes back. Like, that money will dry up quite quickly, and the big issue with that is it's not looking at the long-term life, the longevity, the health of the game. It's looking at the short-term part of the game. It's looking at the game in a way that's, you know, not healthy for it. You know, it's not a sort of healthy sort of way for a game to be. You don't want your game to be this sort of horrible cash cow that, you know, what I'm trying to say here is basically you want the game to be enjoyable for all people, whereas right now it's not. It's very much a game of, well, whoever has the most advanced technology wins. Whoever has the latest toys wins. Whoever has the most money wins. Whoever has the fancy new jets win. And it leaves the old jets out of it. And there's such a power creep that you can't enjoy the game anymore. It's impossible to have fun because everything is so very messed up. And the biggest issue is if we keep piling money onto Gaijin every time they do bring out something like this, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing the same thing. And with that, it's going to have the same problems every patch of pure unbalance. And the game right now is purely unbalanced. There are teams that, you know, obviously people are new to flying some of these vehicles. But it's not going to be something that's going to survive very long. People are going to get frustrated because they went and bought the... let's say they bought, for instance, for sale was the French AMX-30 and the IAR helicopter. Now, I've not played the IAR helicopter, but I do know the AMX-30 quite well. The AMX-30 is not bad, but it's not very good as well. It's, you know, it's not great. It's not great at all. But then you have people that bought, back in the last patch, the last update, that bought themselves the fancy new top-tier premium jet. So they bought themselves the F-86 F-35, the new Sabre. Awesome. So this was you know, the top of the range, the best thing there was for premium. You know, this thing is an absolute awesome, wicked beast of a machine. But it doesn't get air-to-air missiles. So everybody that waited for this patch, if they bought their premium jet for this patch, like say the French, the Italians, or the Japanese, they've got jets that come pre-installed with air-to-air missiles. Now the air-to-air missiles are very easy to evade, are not completely perfect, but they're still better to have than not to have. You've still got more of a chance fighting with them than you'd have without them. And for instance, when you've got things like the G91R4 as the premium, and the R1 as the standard tech tree, and yes, we've got the YS now, but we don't get any more modifications for our standard tech tree vehicles. The power creep has happened. This is still 9.0. This is 9.0. Yet this is inherently better. It's an actual better jet than this. And these are inherently better jets than the Hunter, you could say. And this is one of the best jets in game, you could say. And this actually gets air-to-air missiles. You can install a AIM-9B missiles onto this. You can install them onto this plane. You can buy this. You can go buy this pack right now, and you've got them. And it will make it nice and easy to grind towards the T2, which then you've got that. And then that's it, because you're fighting jets that are nowhere near your class. And it goes for the tanks as well. Let's just jump into a tank battle. So I'm going to take out my Type 90, which technically I can't have anymore, because they've changed the rankings, because it's now a tier 7 tank. You know, I need to unlock the Type 89 before I can have my Type 90. I always find that funny when they do that. But I'll take out my my Type 10. Okay, now this is without a doubt one of the best tanks out there, and it was one of the best tanks. But now we've got the new Abrams in the game. We've got new Ariete. We've got the Challenger 2. Let's just see how many of those are in a match if we jump into a match right now. All of those tanks will not be from grinding. They are purely from people spending upwards of $70 US to get those vehicles. And all they're doing is feeding into the, yes, well, we need to keep making newer things to keep making money syndrome for Gaijin. Rather than making a game that people spend money on because they enjoy it, they make a game that people spend money on because they feel like they need to. they feel like they have to, because it's the only way you can keep up, it's the only way you can be at the top, it's the only way you can dominate, it's the only way you can be the best of them all. And look, I am no stranger to the syndrome. It's happened to me, and I admit it freely, it has happened to me in the past. But the issue is that, actually, I'm going to take out type 87 first of all, just because, what am I doing? Statistics, help me. Yeah, we're facing the Americans. Okay, we're taking out this first. Just in case any helicopters fancy spinning around. So, let's look. Leopard 2A5, Leopard 2A5, Leopard 2A5, Leopard 2A5, Leopard 2A5, Leopard 2A5, Leopard 2A5. That's around about 5,000 US dollars that Gaijin's just made. So Gaijin has made 5,000 US dollars in pretty much no time at all. Let's look at the kill feeds. Let's see what's happening in this game. I honestly thought there'd be some helicopters up, but there doesn't seem to be. Sticking on 15 kilometers. Don't seem to be getting any blips on my radar, unfortunately. Challenger 2 just got killed. T-80U just got killed. AMX-G1 premium got killed. IMPM1 XM1GM just got killed. Premium tank. Now they could have been premiums from the previous patches. That's fine. But still, you know, as I'm saying, it's the money that's being made. If you look at the kill feeds now, there are vehicles that have literally been in the game for less than an hour, and people have them already. And they have most of the parts for them. And as I said, that's a lot of money spent in that time. It's an awful lot of money spent for those vehicles. And what I worry about, I guess, is that it's just going to make Gaijin get lazy. And not try. And that's the thing, I'm not against Gaijin making money, but I am about them getting lazy or not trying. Or, here we go, we've got something incoming.
Multiple strategic zones are captured.
See how good these are. Crit. The MiG is dead. Okay, so the radar mechanics work at least. But these people are out there buying these vehicles up so quickly, and it basically just, you know, it's such a short-term investment. It's not a long-term investment at all. It's not long-term gain for them. This is all short-term game, and that's what I'm scared of here, and that's what I'm trying to get across right now, is that this is not long-term, this is short-term game, and this is going to give them money for this update, but it's going to be another couple of months before we get another update, and it's going to start drying up. Or the opposite could happen, and basically the T2, for instance, could become the only vehicle that can be played at top tier jets, because everything else is absolutely broken. So everybody has to buy one. And in that case, they're going to make money, because people are going to dip into their wallets, people are going to buy them, and it will happen. And Gaijin are going to be very happy with that because it's worked very well for their business model. This is a free-to-play game, mind you. And I just crashed into a rock. That was really good driving there, Scree. No, this is a free-to-play game. Remember, this is free to play. You don't have to spend a penny, a dime, a cent to play it. However, if you want to be competitive early on in a patch, you need to spend hundreds of dollars. To grind out these vehicles, you're spending hundreds of hours spent on this game to get these vehicles. I'm amazed there's no helicopters up. Maybe radar has scared off all the helicopters. But this is the thing, it's, you know, it's a short-term, it's short-term money, not long-term money. They're not putting a long-term investment in here. They're putting a short-term investment in. And that is the thing that worries me about this, is because with it being such a short-term investment, they're going to start losing players. People will get very bored very quickly. People will not enjoy it if they get ruffle stomped every time by the Germans, for instance, right now, because it looks like the Leos are absolutely stomping everybody else. You know, how to lock on the radar.
Need backup.
Oh, it's friendly. Okay, you know, but this is the problem, is, you know, it is short-term investment, not long-term investment. Long-term investment is making a better game, making better game modes, making more fun game modes, making better maps, making more variety, making it so you can actually have fun in a match, making it so it's not one-sided in a game. And as you can see here, the new Leo has obviously made this extremely one-sided. There's been a bit of a fight back from some of the vehicles, but it's just an absolute curb stomping. You know, that's the thing. And literally just absolutely annihilated the enemy team. Right? And these are all people that have bought premium vehicles. And look, we've got a guy there in the premium jet that obviously probably has the premium tank as well, you know, and again, that's a lot of money spent. Still getting used to this new radar system. So what I'm saying is, please don't buy into it. Please try to limit your spending. I know that it is fun to spend, and if you've got the money, you kind of want to do it. And it is rewarding the devs for their hard work. But at the same time, you spending money on a game that is fundamentally broken is not going to fix the game. It's just going to make the game worse. And this game is now broken for allies, as that guy just said. You know, it's absolutely monstrously broken, the game, right now. And this is the kind of gameplay that we're going to get. Now, as I said, everything is new and things will sort of start to even out a little bit. But this is not what we want from War Thunder. We want a competitive game, not a game that basically is just sit there and do nothing simulator. Because essentially that's what's going to happen, and is happening. The areas where there are fun are still these areas. You know, the tier 1, the tier 2, the tier 3, and to some extent the tier 4. But top tier is now completely unbalanced. Jets are completely unbalanced. Ships are completely sunk. Helicopters are spiraling out of control. You know, there are players in this game, but the numbers are dwindling, and they will dwindle more and more and more as this kind of attitude keeps going for people, as people keep going and buying their way to the top, and buying, you know, oh look, the new Leopards come out, you know, I must get it, you know, buying their way to this vehicle, and having a vehicle that, you know, let's just do the armour protection analysis. Let's just go to the USA, the M1A1, and the M82 29 shot. It can pen the front of the tank. It can't pen the cheeks of the tank at all. The side of the tank is tricky. You know, they have fixed it from the dev server, thank God. But this tank is essentially now the best tank because it is the most modern tank. And this is the issue that's going to happen, is that the more modern we go, the more overpowered some nations are going to be. You know, as I said, Japan's got a fantastic tank in the Type 90, and they've got a fantastic tank in the Type 10, which will come. Mark my word, it will come soon. I imagine next patch we'll be getting the Type 10. But the Type 10 and the Type 90 are not... They're more defensive tanks. They're not there for... You know, Japan's very defensive of its homeland, so their tanks are very much like that. Italy had the Ariete, which is not a bad tank at all. Now this is not the final version of the Ariete, of course, but it's the sort of the one we've got in game. So let's go for Type 74, and with the top shell. The Ariete is absolutely bollocksed. You know, the Ariete is a very good tank by all means, and it's a fantastic tank by Italian designers. But it's not a Abrams. It's not a Leopard 2A5. France has the AMX-40. Yes, they're probably going to get the Leclerc next patch, but they have the AMX-40, and that is the best tank they've got. And that is a joke. That is a very, very bad joke, because it is not competitive at all. Russia, of course. Russia have got their usual balance, and of course they've got the new Tunguska, which I've not actually seen out yet, but I imagine it's going to be absolutely devastating. As you saw, the new radar-assisted AAA does its job very well. The T-80U is going to be quite a good tank. But these superpowers are going to be the only ones that really exist. The Challenger 2 is a great tank, and I adore it, but it's getting on in years. And it's not been upgraded as much as the other tanks. America, once we start getting things like the Abrams with the depleted uranium armour, is going to be near invincible from the front. What about when they start introducing things like the Warthog? You know, when we start getting planes like that in-game, because that will come. You know, the Warthog is not a modern plane. It's in the same sort of era as the T2. You know, the T2 is basically a step, it's a generation ahead of the current planes that we have in-game. And this is the problem. We have got nations that have vehicles that are a generation ahead of other nations. And it simply doesn't work on a game basis. And giving Gaijin your money right now is only going to make this worse. And I think I've made this video at the wrong part of time, because I should have made it before this patch dropped. But I hope you understand what I'm saying, and I hope you've watched to the end and understood what I'm trying to get through here. I'm worried where this game is going, because it is not in a good position. It's not going in a very positive way. And we say this every single time a new patch drops, I'm sure. You know, we said it when the Abrams first came out. We said it when things first came out, you know, oh, it's going to be game-breaking. But soon it is going to be game-breaking. It's starting to get to that point where it is game-breaking. You saw with the anti-aircraft kill I had there. That was literally just pressing X and holding down the fire button. That's all I did. That is game-breaking. There's no skill in that. You know, it takes away the skill, and that's the problem. Modern fire control systems don't really have skill. Now, any people that work with these vehicles in real life, I'm not saying that you're not skilled, but in a game-type environment, yes, there are going to be more skilled players than others, but just simply being able to hold down a button and press one button to kill something is not a skilled game, and it's not a fun game for others to have. You know, when you can take down supersonic jets with just a click of a button, it's not a game that's going to work very well. People are going to get very tired very quickly because they've spent $200 odd getting this vehicle they think is going to be the best thing in the world, and it gets killed instantly. So yeah, I guess I'm going to end there, but I hope you've understood this video. I hope you've watched this video to the end. I hope you actually got what I'm saying here and actually understand what I'm trying to get across. That this has been a very good week for Gaijin, I imagine. As I said, you know, with all the premiums they will have sold, it will be in the $100,000 to $200,000 mark easily. Maybe even $250,000. Maybe even $500,000. They will have made a lot of money from this patch, simply because people will have paid their way to get there. And I know a lot of people will have paid their way to get to the Japanese jet, because people did not have Japanese planes. There were not that many Japanese players. The last week or so proved this to me, because every game was Japan versus Japan. Everybody was trying to grind out as much as they could, but majority of people wouldn't have had the KI-200. They may not have had this vehicle yet, so they would have had to spend an extra, you know, $70 to $80 to grind past these with the Golden Eagles. People are dropping so much money on this game now, and as I said, I've paid for things on this game. I'm one of those people, but the higher up the tiers we go, the more expensive it becomes and the more money they make from fewer products. This patch we only had a handful of vehicles released, whereas you look at patches gone past and there are almost whole tech trees. You know, in this patch we've literally had like 4 or 5 vehicles, you know, on the ground, and then 4 or 5 vehicles in the air, and a couple of new mechanics. But they're making more money now than they would have if they had released, say, a load of mid-tier, or like, you know, if they'd released a couple of World War II era planes, or if they'd released World War I era planes. You know, because they would not be very high BR, they wouldn't be worth much money. You know, you could probably spend 10 Golden Eagles to grind one out. But when you're speaking of vehicles that have 390,000 research points to grind out, when you're speaking of vehicles that have 400,000 research points, you know, $3,900 research points in ground, millions of lions to spend on them. You know, people have had to spend a lot of money to get these, and getting them on day one means that they've either got a huge amount of lions in stock, which I know a lot of people do, or that they've had to spend Golden Eagles on lions and the research. and those people are what the game industry call whales, and it's what they're after. People just wanting to spend, and it's not good for the game itself. It's only good for Gaijin, because they're not looking at improving the game. They're looking at just making money at some stages. And yes, I'm not negating the fact that they need to make money. I want them to make money. I want the game to succeed. I love this game. But at the same time, if we want change to happen, if we want things like the naval system to actually work correctly and to be kind of fun, we need to start speaking with our wallets and not paying for things. We need to start actually, you know, not buying things from Gaijin and saying, look, we want change. Things like fire prevention on ships is still not a standard feature, which is ridiculous because, as I said, parts and FPE should be standard on ships because it is ludicrous not having that. They have changed some of the things around on them, for instance. Now smoke is a lower section for it, so you don't have to grind all the way to get smoke. But as I said, parts and FPE are still premium items that you have to grind through to get. You don't just magically get them. You know, you still have to grind all of that to get the parts and the FPE. And without parts and FPE, you're basically, there's not much you can do in a naval game. It's just ludicrous. Anyway, I've ranted on long enough. This video was only meant to be a 10 minute or so video, and it's probably gone on for about, I don't know, about 40 odd minutes. So I'm going to stop now because I've gone on way too long. But thank you for watching. I hope you understand my point. I hope you understand what I'm getting at here. Yes, there are some changes that have come that are a good thing, but the changes that people want are not happening still, and they're never going to happen when people are spending up to $250,000 in a day period on their game, because Gaijin are a business, and when they see those profit margins go whomp all the way up, they want to keep them going up, so they're going to make new toys that people are going to want to buy straight away, new things that people are going to need straight away. You know, make things where people are going to be left to just be absolutely screwed if they don't have them. As I said, you know, the T2 has just completely annihilated air battles. The Japanese team is going to be one of the strongest teams to have for both ground and air at the moment. Being that it's usually going to be Japan and Germany as a team, the Allied nation's going to struggle horrendously. Okay guys, well I'm going to go because I will keep ranting on. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Down below is the Discord if you want to join and have a chat. Please give me a subscribe as well. I would love that. It would be nice to actually get some high subscriber numbers one day. But a like would be perfect as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.